Kate Winslet is one of the brightest of them, and her latest drama, I Am Ruth, hits the dilemma head-on. It's the tale of a teenager who's caught up in the dark side of social media and her mother's struggle to help her. I asked Kate why she wanted to produce and star in this largely improvised drama, working alongside her real-life daughter. What was that like?
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Okay. You are not judged, you are not criticised.
Well, I am, though, am I not?
I'm not perfect! Please stop! You are driving me to do this!
I really think it would be worth her while if she saw a counsellor.
Where's my phone? It's what's making you ill.
It was extraordinary. It was extraordinary. And she would have days where she'd say, I can't think of anything, I don't know what to say, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I would say, don't worry, I can't think of anything, I don't know what to say, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then it just meant that we kind of held hands much more. And actually, I was just so blown away by her. I mean, she didn't need my help at all. You know, sometimes I could show her or introduce her to a technical trick here and there, just little things I've picked up along the way, like changing an eye line, whether you look at the camera, look at the person there, or you cheat it to there so it brings the eye line closer to camera. Little things like that that no one teaches you. And she appreciated that stuff, but when it came to the acting, she'd go, I got it, I'm good. And there were times when I would say, can I just one time? No, I'm good.
And did she ever say that back to you?
She would, yeah, sometimes she would say to me things like, when you come in and you're doing that bit, can you just maybe, like, where you're standing, I don't know, but it's just really, I'd go, okay, I'll stand over there then. So it was it was brilliant though. And of course we had the added bonus of knowing how to push each other's buttons, which, let me tell you, we can do quite well, and definitely lent on that resource considerably when we were filming. So yeah, it was good.
It is a hard watch because the issues are raw, and your daughter's performance is incredible. It feels like we all know a family that has had some form of this terrible distress. Do you want this film to be a warning to families about what could go wrong with social media?
I don't know if I could use the word warning. It's great that you just did, but I think we want it to be an opening for conversation. We want to create a space in which people can say, oh my God, that's us, that's happening to us. And maybe not dismiss it as, well, it's happening to everyone, you know, what you're going to do and how do you stop them, and you can't just take their phone away. And, you know, I don't have any answers. We tried to make the mother proactive in the clumsy way that she is, but through lack of not knowing what to do, she did something primal in order to step in and help. And luckily in our situation, it does turn a corner and things do change. But even things like, there's a scene with a doctor who was a real doctor, and there's a scene with her where she talks about the process of how you get help for mental health, because some people really don't know how to get help and don't know what the process is, and wouldn't even have the courage to sit down with a doctor and say there's something wrong, because there's an element of strange shame, I think, around talking about mental health, as though it's the parent's failure.
There are some real moments in the film that I think will resonate so much with parents watching across the country. A moment where your character Ruth is listening at the door, and she can hear on the other side Freya's phone going ping, ping,
ping,
ping,
into the early hours of the morning, yeah.
And you feel that sense of powerlessness. Do you think parents do feel that they just don't have power, this sort of battle between parents and the iPhone or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg? You have sort of families versus big tech.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's exactly what's happening. I think that parents are being rendered utterly powerless. And I think it's incredibly hard. You know, people will often say to me, oh God, Kate, how do you do it? I don't have any answers or, you know, some magic wand I can wave. You know, sometimes I wish I had a manual as well. And I've full on stared at both of my children, my teenage children at times, and thought to myself, my God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at all. You know, it's time to phone a friend. I mean, we all have those moments. But I do definitely feel that the world of social media is frightening to parents, because we don't really know what's there. We don't know how our children are using it. We don't know the effect that it's really having on them. We don't know really what's going on in their friendship groups anymore, because so much of it is actually built on phones, inside phones. This world that just you can burrow deeper and deeper into it, and it becomes darker and trickier and much, much harder for children to navigate. And I think because young children are having phones at a much earlier age, they're able to access things that emotionally they're just not equipped or sophisticated enough to know how to process. You know, there are parents who are sifting around in the rubble of COVID going, what the hell do I do? Who is this person who used to be my lovely child? I mean, it happens, we all know these stories, you know, whether it's happened to us or we have friends who come to us and say, oh my God, what do I do? Or what do you do? I don't know, you know. It's a really frightening time to be a parent, I think.
Do you think there needs to be more regulation? I mean, should we just say social media shouldn't be available to people under a certain age, or what might be the answer?
It's a difficult one, because when you're an individual in something of a high profile position, you know, we do have to be careful that we're using our voices wisely, hopefully telling stories that resonate, speaking with integrity and leading with the truth. Those things are very important to me. I really do struggle with social media. I struggle with the impact it's clearly having on teenage mental health. I do wish that our government would crack down on it. I do wish that there would be certain platforms that were banned before a certain age. I wish that security checks would be much more rigorous. You know, teenagers, where there's a will, there's a way. So if they want to get on that platform, they will. But I do believe that there needs to be a lot more protection and accountability, because parents are left flailing, going, well, thank you so much, government, look what just happened to my child. And how can you possibly tell me that, oops, it's not my fault? There's people shirking responsibility all the time. That I struggle with. I really struggle with that.
Who's shirking responsibility, though?
You answer that question.
Well, is it the tech companies, or should it be the role of governments? I mean, maybe governments in a way are also struggling with this huge change.
I think what I want to be really careful of is that there aren't headlines saying Kate Winslet attacks big tech. I certainly don't want to do that. That's not what this is about for me at all. I just think that the people who know that they could do better to protect our children should just be doing that. Whoever those people are, they know who they are. They should just step up and do better.
One of the things you talk a lot, and listening to you speak, you use the word real a lot. And in real life, what's happening in this country right now is a lot of people are struggling to pay the bills. And you recently donated a large amount of money, £17,000, to a mother with a disabled child who had gone online and just said, I can't manage, I'm not going to be able to keep the lights on. Why did you do that? How did you hear about it?
Something popped up on the BBC Scotland news page about this woman, Carolyn Hunter's story, and her saying that she would have to put her child, who has severe cerebral palsy and very, very extreme needs and is nonverbal, that she was going to have to put her child into care because she could not afford her electricity bills. And it absolutely destroyed me. I just thought, on what planet is anyone going to let that happen? This is just completely, completely wrong. We were able to track her down and say that I had wanted to make a donation, and it was because of that that they then set up a GoFundMe page, and bang, I was able to do it right away. And it just felt, it was just wrong to me that this woman was going to suffer, and that she should have been in any way, as a mother, forced to make such a heartbreaking decision because she simply didn't have the support and couldn't pay the bills. I just couldn't let that happen.
Is there a place, though, for people with lots of resources to be taking that kind of individual action? You know, what does it say about us as a country that's happening?
I think people just, the powers that be need to have a good think, and they need to get it right, and they need to make changes that will actually help these people. You know, adults are great at fundraising for groups and for other adults, and sometimes for large groups of children, but I have always been really cut in half by the plight of the individual, and there seems to be very little lack of support for individuals whose situations are extreme, are different. You can't categorise them, you can't tick a box, you can't say, oh well, you're not eligible for school meals because this is ridiculous. If you can't afford to pay for your child's school meals, someone else should be paying for it. Don't let the child go hungry. Can you hear I'm getting so passionate in my old age? But these things...
You're going to become an activist in your
But these
late
things,
40s.
look at me. But these things matter. I was a free school meals kid. Myself and all my siblings, we were free school meals children. And I think that Marcus Rashford, what he has done, I was watching the match the other night with my son, and I turned to him and I said, do you have any idea how extraordinary that man is? And Mum said, oh yeah, Joe said, oh yeah, he scored for this. I'm like, I'm not talking about football. I was like, let me tell you exactly what that guy did during COVID. And I mean, hats off to someone like him. And we do have to, I think, use our voices and try and at least raise awareness or ruffle feathers. We have to ruffle up the system. Why should it be the way that it is? If it isn't working, change it, fix it, do it better. Come on, people. You know, you're grown-ups. You've got the power to do it. Do it.
I want to close by asking you about something completely different, where you are clearly still having huge fun in your career alongside the very gritty project of I Am Ruth, is of course the new Avatar film. Turn your skin blue, learn to hold your breath for 7 minutes, setting some kind of extraordinary record.
Yeah, don't try this at home.
And be reunited with James Cameron, who of course you worked with on Titanic.
Yeah.
It's set, predicted to be the biggest movie ever. Do you think it will be?
I think it probably will be. I mean, the first one was absolutely extraordinary. And I think those themes of climate change and, you know, the impact that man is having on the environment, it's never been more prevalent and part of the conversation.
And should people see it at the cinema? Because Steven Spielberg, interestingly, at the beginning of his new film, he's giving a direct appeal to people saying, come to the movies, don't sit on your sofa at home and just watch things on streaming services.
Well, I mean, I think the ideal is to go and see it in the cinema, but, you know, it's what can people afford? That's the thing, you know, and during COVID, wasn't it brilliant? We could all just sit there and watch what we wanted for a tenth of the price sometimes. So I think it is what people can afford. But if you can afford it, I definitely think for sure it's going to be that wonderful cinematic, all-encompassing experience that's probably worth it.
Kate Winslet, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.